there, welcome to Firm Foundation Bitesize 11, God Creates Man. Once again, I want to put in a shameless plug for my podcast, Where is God When Life Sucks? It's a twice weekly podcast that uses movies, TV shows, whatever is going on in our current pop culture as a springboard to devotionals where I try to help bring things into focus. Some of my past podcasts are centered on Netflix series 13 Reasons Why, Suicide, Toxic Masculinity, Game of Thrones, The Art of Being Offended, Into Thin Air, The Tragedy of Adopting the Wrong Goal, Living in a Madhouse, Losing My Mind, and so many more on various topics that hopefully will resonate with where you live and stuff that you're going through. So would you do me a favor? Check out my podcast, Where is God When Life Sucks? It's available at iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Castbox, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and now available on iHeartRadio using the iHeartRadio app. You can also go straight to my podcast homepage, which is majorjolt.podbean.com, and all my devotionals are listed in order. So check them out. I think you'll find Where is God When Life Sucks a helpful start to your day or week. All right? Thanks. Well, as we go through this Firm Foundation Bite-Sized series, I want you to see that God has a plan. The Bible reveals that God established his plan long before mankind was even created. You see, God didn't just create the universe, the earth, human beings, and then slowly figure out along the way what his purpose was for all of it. You see, before anything physical was created, God had a specific plan for everything that he would create. And as we said in our very first lesson, Genesis is a book of foundations. And it's necessary for us to read and understand Genesis in order to know what God is doing. Thus far, we've learned that mankind was created to be very different from the rest of creation. You see, when God created man, he made a clear distinction between humans and animals. The primary distinction is that he created human beings after his image and likeness. And the main distinction that separates humans from the animal kingdom is the mental and spiritual capabilities of the human mind. God lovingly, carefully, and perfectly created everything in preparation for his final creation, which was man. Just think how it is when a family is expecting their first child. They usually find so much pleasure in fixing up a room for the new little baby. The mother wants to have everything ready ahead of time so she can bring the baby home to a place where all of his or her needs can be met in a special, loving place that's been prepared just for the baby. The parents, they paint the room a special color, they put up wallpaper designs, cartoons, and in a similar way, God prepared the beauty of this entire earth. He gave us sunshine, water, food, everything that we would need to live and enjoy life. Well, we begin with A, God's plan to create man in the image of God, Genesis 1:26. Then God said, let us make humans in our image, in our likeness. Let them rule the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the domestic animals all over the earth, and all the animals that crawl on the earth. The Hebrew word for God here is Elohim, which means the supreme God, the strong and mighty God. Elohim is mentioned 2,570 times in the Bible. Well, think about this. When you're going to build a new home, you have some architectural plans drawn up. For example, the home that I live in, it was built in 1956, and we have the original architectural drawings that were made before this house was even built. I mean, that's what God did. God planned how he would make the very first man. And God is sovereign. He alone decided how all things would be made. God decided how man would be made, just like he previously decided how the spirits, the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, and all the things on the earth were to be made. God alone decided. He didn't ask anyone's advice. B, what does it mean to be made in the image of God? You see, because God has a mind, he planned to make people with a mind so that we would have the ability to know God, think like God, reason like God. Well, by now you may have heard that IBM has developed Watson, an artificially intelligent computer system capable of answering questions posed in natural language. Watson made his debut on the quiz show Jeopardy, and in 2011, Watson competed on Jeopardy against former winners Brad Rutter and Ken Jennings. And Watson won, and he received the first place prize of $1 million. IBM has spent millions on Watson, and this computer system has many applications in today's world. But one thing Watson can't do, Watson can't communicate with God or know God or reason like God. You see, God wanted to talk to man, and he wanted man to talk to him. He wanted to be able to communicate with man, not only by the spoken word, but also by the written word, as he does through his word, the Bible. Today, God speaks to man not only through the Bible, but through prophecy, words of knowledge, gift of tongues, as well as dreams and visions. And now we come to C. God gave man a will and the ability to choose. Well, besides having a mind and feelings, God also has a will. He's able to decide that he'll do something or that he won't do it. Therefore, God decided to make man so that he would be able to make decisions for himself. And think about this. When you get up in the morning, you decide what you're going to wear. You decide what you're going to drink and eat for breakfast. You decide where you're going to go in your car. When you get dressed, do your clothes have any say in what you wear? Does your food have any opportunity to say when it's going to be eaten? Does your car have any say as to where it'll be driven? Of course not. You're the one that makes that decision about all these and countless other things. Well, in summary, man was given a mind to hear and understand God's communication with him, to think through what God had told him, to learn the true character of God, and to communicate with God in return. And we'll continue this thought in lesson number 12 as we look at the creation of Adam. Until next time, this is Pastor Dale saying, Shalom.